in the Senate race, the Indiana Senate race. NBC News now projects that Republican Jim Banks has won that race. Again, early calls just after poll closings in Indiana. There is an additional race in Indiana that we are watching that's got nationwide eyes on it, which, again, is a remarkable thing given Republican prospects broadly in Indiana. But that governor's race in Indiana has been one to watch, and so we'll keep eyes there. While we've been speaking with Governor Cooper, we have a projection to make. NBC News can now project that in the great state of Vermont, independent senator, caucuses with the Democrats, Bernie Sanders has been reelected as Vermont's senator. That means NBC News has projected in Vermont that Kamala Harris has won the presidential there and Bernie Sanders is reelected there. We're also, of course, watching the governor's race in Vermont. Interestingly, there is an incumbent Republican governor in Vermont. He said after coming out of his own polling place today that he cast his ballot as a Republican governor. He cast his presidential ballot for Kamala Harris. And in West Virginia, we have a projection in the Senate race there. Now, this is the Senate seat that was held by former Democrat, now independent Joe Manchin. This is not a surprise. The Republicans have picked up the Senate seat in West Virginia. NBC News projecting that Republican Senate candidate Jim Justice will take that Senate seat in West Virginia, which, of course, is a Republican pickup. That's the one sort of lockdown, absolute guaranteed Republican pickup in the Senate this year. This is the Senate balance at this hour: 29 Democrats and 40 Republicans. With that seat in West Virginia, Republicans have one Senate pickup. NBC News is projecting a winner in the Maryland Senate race. Angela Alsobrooks, the Democrat, will be the next senator from the state of Maryland, defeating Maryland Republican Larry Hogan. NBC News also has a projection to make in the Senate race in Texas. Incumbent Republican Ted Cruz will be returning to the Senate for another term. NBC News can also project a winner in the Wyoming Senate race. Incumbent Republican Senator John Barrasso will be returning to the United States Senate. And now let's look at Nebraska. Unusually, Nebraska has effectively two Senate seats on the same ballot, which is rare. But that is because this one is a special election. The Nebraska special Senate election is to fill the remainder of the term of Ben Sass, Senator Ben Sass, who resigned. Pete Ricketts has held this seat since January, so he's running for it in this special election as a de facto incumbent. NBC News can project that Pete Ricketts will hold on to that seat in the Nebraska special Senate election. NBC News can project that there is a winner in the Senate race in Ohio. This is a Republican pickup. This is incumbent Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown losing his seat to Republican challenger Bernie Moreno in Ohio.
NBC News now calling GOP control of the Senate.
That's with the victory of Deb Fischer, the incumbent in Nebraska, who was given quite the run for her money from an independent there, Dan Osborne, who said he wouldn't caucus with either side. But it went down to the wire. But in the end, the Nebraska Senate goes back to the Republicans, and that gives a leg up to Republicans and the gains they need to take control of the Senate.
They should have won it based on how the map looks. And obviously, we are now projecting that they have it here. You've got that Nebraska pickup. Montana is still hanging out there. I'm also looking at some of these other races that are very, very close, where there are Democratic incumbents in the Senate. So this is significant, obviously.
John Tester of Montana has lost his Senate seat to Tim Sheehy, the Republican in the state of Montana, adding another Republican, Joe, in the Senate column as well.
And we still have three that are being contested in the upper Midwest, in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. We'll be following those tallies. Those are going to be very close right now, but Republicans already have the majority in the United States Senate. Obviously allows them to appoint justices, also get Donald Trump's elections for cabinet officials through without much resistance at all.
Projection from NBC News now projecting that Tammy Baldwin, the Democratic incumbent in Wisconsin, the senator has been reelected. She's been in office since 2012, ran against a venture capitalist, Eric Hovde. But this means that there has been at least this bit of good news on what has been not a very good day for Democrats. Tammy Baldwin, the projected winner, by, as you can see, less than 1%. Again, showing strength in Madison, where we saw a lot of activity around the university there, lots of long lines, Milwaukee, as you would expect in those areas of the big cities. She is the only Democrat to have gotten a number of endorsements, including some that typically might go the Republicans' way, the Farm Bureau. So here's where we're left for the Senate with the uncalled races. Maine, Pennsylvania, of course, also another of the battleground states, along with Arizona, Michigan, Nevada. There you see the list there as we continue to do the big picture of where we are in the Senate at this hour.
NBC News can now project Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego will defeat his Republican challenger Kari Lake in the Arizona Senate race. Gallego will take the seat of retiring independent Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who caucuses with the Democrats, preventing another GOP gain. He will become the first Latino to represent Arizona in the U.S. Senate.
On a different topic here, and I don't mean to throw you a curveball, but it relates to that extremely close Senate race in Pennsylvania between Republican Dave McCormick and Democratic incumbent Bob Casey. And literally in the last 90 seconds, as Vaughn was speaking, we're hearing from Senator Casey, who I believe, Julie, is conceding.
He is. He actually said in this 3.5-minute long video that thanks to my team, I'm frantically looking at what was said, and it is that he had called McCormick, his Republican opponent, to congratulate him, hereby conceding. Remember, there was a recount ordered in this race. Casey pushed for it. McCormick said for some time that he was the victor in this race. The recount went on. They were close, less than a half a percentage point. Clearly, it seems like Casey has accepted his defeat in this situation, ending an 18-year career in the Senate. McCormick unseating an incumbent. Remember, McCormick is somebody who faced Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, back in a primary in 2022. So this has been a long road for him as well. And this also means that Republicans have officially cemented 53 seats in the Senate.
I would just say, Julie, NBC News has not officially called the race. So I just want to point that out, that we still technically have it as too close to call. But obviously, Senator Casey, Bob Casey, and his team are seeing that they don't think they have enough that would be able to get over the finish line, even in a recount.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so if and when we officially call that race, given that Casey has now conceded, and that is what we were waiting for, of course, for the recount to be completed as well as votes were still coming in. But Republicans could have those 53 seats, giving them officially a 3-seat majority, plus J.D. Vance, who would be the vice president, to break any tie. A significant margin for Republicans here.
Julie Sirkin rolling with it as we have these developments here coming in live on the air. Again, NBC News has not officially called that Pennsylvania Senate race. We will flag and update folks when that happens. Julie, thanks.